Okay, today we're going to make peanut butter protein bars. I have all the ingredients here. We'll go through them. First, I have a 8x8 pan. I sprayed a little bit of the cooking spray in there. Kind of wiped it down a little bit so it wasn't a whole lot in there. You don't need much, just enough to kind of get it wet like. They come out fairly easy, so it's not too bad, but this will just help a little bit. So we'll have a little bit of greased 8x8 pan. Another ingredient is honey. I like to use the little bit more expensive honey. It's a little bit better tasting than some of the inexpensive stuff. The next ingredient is all natural peanut butter. This is salted. I like to use the unsalted, but the wife happened to pick up this, so that's what I'm going to use for today. Whey protein, vanilla. This is going to be vanilla for this batch here. Normally for my shakes I like chocolate, but I picked this up at the local grocery store for a couple $, and it's the whey protein, vanilla protein, and it's not too bad, and it tastes very good in the protein bars. And the last ingredient we have is going to be coconut oil, which is also good for you, along with the honey. This is fats that we need in our body. So this is excellent to put in there instead of regular oil or anything. Coconut oil, so that's really good. Just have a tablespoon and a little cup that I'm going to melt the coconut oil, because coconut oil is a little bit like a paste. So I'm going to try to melt that down in the microwave, and that'll be our last ingredient to add to the rest of the ingredients to finish off the protein bars. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to get started. What I'm going to start off with is the peanut butter. Get the stove lit, put it on probably low to 1. Get that heated up. I'm going to break the seal on the peanut butter. And just so that I can get the peanut butter out of the jar, I'm going to take and throw it in the microwave for a little bit to get it warm. Let's see, let's put it in for 15 seconds. Let's see if that helps. Let me get everything else open. I can take and measure out my coconut oil, so I'm going to heat that up later too. And like I said, the coconut oil is kind of like a paste. So I like to use, well, I guess you could say that was 1 heaping spoon of tablespoon, and then just a little bit more. So probably 2 good helpings of coconut oil for measurement and a tablespoon. I don't think that was enough for the peanut butter, but let me check. Nope. Alright, let's try another 30 seconds for the peanut butter. This is getting warm. What I can do is I'm going to measure up my honey. I usually just squirt it in there, and based on what it looks like in the pan is usually how much, but I'll take and measure it out this time so that everybody can see how much honey I'm actually using. There's 1 tablespoon. There's 2 tablespoons. And they're not level tablespoons. They actually, because the honey's a little bit thicker, so they're a little bit more than a tablespoon. But you can do the same thing when you pour the honey. It's going to do the same thing, so if you kind of just add it the way I am, you'll be pretty good. And a lot of this is to taste too. I like it fairly sweet with the honey, because I love honey. So that's 3 tablespoons. That's 4. It looks to be like it's going to be about 6 tablespoons. There's 5. And we'll go 1 more. So 6 tablespoons of honey. And like I said, they're not level tablespoons, as you can see. So that should be fairly good. That's the way I like it. You can lessen it or add more honey if you'd like. You know, it's based on taste. So set this here. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention also is vanilla extract. I usually put in just a tablespoon of vanilla extract too. And I put that right in the honey. While that's getting heated up, I stir the vanilla extract in with the honey. That way I know that's going to get all mixed up. Just check on the peanut butter. I'm going to go another 30 seconds. And that should be done by the time I get this done. Okay, so I have the honey and vanilla extract mixed together. The next thing I'm going to do is add in my peanut butter once this is all warmed up, so I can get it out of the jar a lot easier, which is pretty good. It'll be alright now. It's not too hot that I can't handle the jar. And I'm just going to pour that in here and try to get as much peanut butter out of this jar as I can. Again, this is the salted. I normally like to use the unsalted, only because I don't want the extra salt in my diet. I'm not big on salt. I don't usually salt any of my food. I used to when I was younger, but for some reason, somehow I got away from it, and it doesn't bother me not to add salt to anything. So, again, I prefer to use the unsalted. Okay, so that's it for the peanut butter. Now I'm just going to stir that in with the honey. Alright, I'm going to get that all stirred up. I'm going to put the coconut oil in there, and when I come back we'll be ready to add the protein in the coconut oil. Okay, we're back. I stirred up the peanut butter and honey and the vanilla extract, so that's all nice and mixed together. I heated up the coconut oil. Now, we're not going to put that in just yet. Right now I'm going to add in my protein powder. Now this scoop is a pretty good sized scoop, and I believe there's 40 grams of protein per scoop. I think, let me just make sure. Protein. I'm sorry, 30. There's 30 grams per scoop of the vanilla protein. So I'm going to use 2 scoops. The texture seems to come out a little bit better, plus it's got a little extra protein in it when using 2 scoops. So there's 1 scoop. There's 2 scoops. So that's added an extra 60 grams of protein to the peanut butter, which already has quite a bit of protein in it. Check that and see. I think what's the protein? Protein per 2 tablespoons is 8 grams. I think I figured it out, and it was somewhere like around 100 grams of protein per jar of peanut butter. So now what I'm going to do is just mix in the protein in with the peanut butter. Now this gets a little tough to mix in because the mixture starts to get a little bit drier. so it's a little hard to mix it in. And it takes a little bit of time to get it all mixed together, but I like to get it a little bit dry. That's why I'm not adding the coconut oil just yet, because I like it a little bit dry. It helps me get all that protein powder mixed in so that I don't have clumps when I go to eat the bars. Now, you'll see later on, I actually like to cut the bars up almost into like fudge size chunks instead of like a long bar like you would buy at the nutrition store or something like that, where the bars are like 3-4 inches long. I prefer the little chunks like fudge, like you would do with fudge. And these protein bars, because of the coconut oil we've put in and the honey we've put in, they're perfect for when you finish up on cardio. You can bring these to the gym. You can ask them to store them in the refrigerator so that when you're done doing your cardio, you can take and have a few of these bars ready before you go home. It helps a lot to bring back your sugar levels and stuff after you've done your cardio. I've tried these, doing it before, bringing them to the gym and having them store them for me. When I get done doing my cardio, I feel exhausted. Sometimes I almost feel faint because when I was cutting weight, I didn't have a whole lot of food in me. So these bars brought me right back. Got my sugar levels all back to where they should be. Okay, this is almost mixed together pretty good. So now I'm going to add in the coconut oil. And adding the coconut oil to them actually makes them a little bit smoother, and it helps with the peanut butter not sticking to the roof of your mouth. When I first made these, that was one of my issues. I didn't have enough coconut oil in them, and when you ate them, it was like eating a tablespoon of peanut butter. So the coconut oil helps a lot with not having them stick to the roof of your mouth. And it smooths them out, gives you a better texture. Like I said, it's almost like a fudge texture. Okay, let me get this all stirred, and when we come back, I'll have it all mixed up. We'll be ready to put it in the pan, and once we put it in the pan, get it all smoothed out, it'll go right into the freezer for a little while. We'll let it cool down a little bit, and then I'll bring it back out and I'll cut it, and I'll show you how to do that in the next segment. Okay? Okay, we're back. Now, I realized after I added my coconut oil in that it was a little bit too moist, and I realized that I needed one more scoop of protein. So there's total scoops, there's 3 of the whey vanilla protein in there instead of the 2, and as you can see, the texture is exactly where I want it right now. Everything's mixed in really good. Now I still have the stove on really low to keep everything heated up, to keep it a little bit pliable. Now what I'm going to do is we're ready for the pan. So we're going to put this in the pan and we're going to get it all flat. Okay, now we're ready to put this in the pan. It comes out fairly easy. And we're going to turn off the stove. pushing it around so that it'll all adhere a little bit better to each other, and I don't have the cracks in it, because once it starts to cool, if you leave those cracks in it, it'll fall apart and it won't stay together as good as if you were to smooth it out like I'm doing here. So trying to get it as smooth as possible is a good thing. It'll stay together a lot easier. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we're going to leave that like that, and from this point I'm just going to throw it in the freezer and let that cool down for a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take this and put this in the freezer for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I don't want to freeze it. I just want to cool it down enough so that I can get it cut. And once I get it cut, then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and I'll let it cool the rest of the way in the refrigerator. Once it cools all the way, I'll be able to pull all the little chunks out and put it in a container to store here at the house, or a container that I can take with me whether I'm going to work or traveling or whatever I need to do. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this in the freezer right now. And when we come back in about 5 or 10 minutes, it should be ready to be cut into little chunks, just like pieces of fudge. Okay, this is what I like to slice the bars with, and I slice them probably about in 1-inch chunks. I'm not that good of a slicer, and I don't always keep the same diameter, the same dimensions, but as you can see, this is about where I like to start and make them. I'm a little off, but that's okay. Okay, so that's what they'll look like. Now I'm going to put these back in the refrigerator this time, not the freezer, and I'm going to let them cool the rest of the way. Once they cool all the way, I should be able to lift them right out of there fairly easily. Okay, so that concludes on how to make my no-bake peanut butter protein bars. If you have any questions, the email address is on our YouTube channel, and you can check us out there. We're going to probably be adding more videos as we progress. I've got 2 now. This will be my second one. And we'll have different, training things, diets. We'll talk about that all. Alright, so I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator and let this cool the rest of the way. And that's going to be the end of the video. I think you guys can figure out how to get them out of the pan by yourself and put them in any type of container that you want to have them in. Alright, so thanks for watching, and enjoy your peanut butter protein bars.